Hi guys, welcome. So today we're going to talk about one of the reasons why property sale transactions fall through in Jamaica. All right, let's jump in. So transactions get delayed for several reasons, right? Oftentimes you'll hear different reasons between the stamp office or the legal process or the courier services. However, I want to highlight another major area, which is the sellers not being prepared. What does that mean? Sellers play a major role in the transaction going through smoothly, right? And to solve this, I want us to look at 7 areas where sellers can put themselves in a position to have the transaction going through smoothly. And so both seller and buyer can walk away from the transaction as quickly as possible. Okay, let's jump in. The main reason, number one, the proof of ownership. Every real estate transaction requires that the seller present a proof of ownership. Most commonly in Jamaica, we use a property title to show as proof of ownership. This proof of ownership document can also come in the form of a legal document because sometimes there are transactions or activities in the court and the court can give authority for certain persons or the vendors, whoever it may be, to sell the property. This may be an institution, an individual. However, whatever the case is, proof of ownership must be provided. And getting these documents in place before you're moving through the process is important. Number two is gathering your personal information. These include identifying who you are, showing that you are indeed the person who is listed on the title as the actual owner of the property. So this will include a valid government photo ID, valid as in not expired, and it actually looks like you on the ID. Two, your TRN. No transaction in Jamaica can get done without a TRN. Persons may inherit a property and they may not be a Jamaican, they may not have a TRN. However, that is not a deterrent. They can get a TRN, they can apply and get a TRN. Also, you need a valid proof of address. This sometimes is debatable because people may say, why do I need this? However, the law states, and we need to identify that you are actually this person who you say you are. And our way of doing that is where you live. You get bills there. This is your address, and this is who you say you are. Right? Number three, the listing agreement. So the listing agreement is what the realtor will present to say as our contract that you have engaged them to undertake the sale of the property for them. In this agreement, it lists out various terms that governs the agreement. In the case of if the sale falls through, what is the commission that is being paid, what is the period of time, what are the different clauses that may come upon outside of when the period that you engage a realtor. Now, this agreement is important because it allows the realtor, us, to be able to list the property on the MLS network. And the MLS network exposes the property to realtors and their clients all over the world. This is major, guys, because through listing the property in the Gleaner, as we're used to in Jamaica, or putting it on social media, as we realtors creatively do these days, the MLS is one of the most powerful tools that we leverage because along with the listing, it also gives us data analytics. Who is seeing the property? What's the reaction like? You know, if it is overpriced, if it's underpriced, various information can come out of it. Who is seeing it? Which are the buyers who are most interested in it? Male, female, gender, different demographics. So this agreement is very important. And it requires a signature from all sellers, all parties on the form to endorse it, right? All right. Four, the listing commission. Now, this is important to discuss at the beginning of the contract because it shows you what is the amount that will be paid out of the proceeds of the sale. It is important to know why you're paying this commission and when this commission will be payable. The percentage is negotiable, but on average, there's an international percentage of between, say, 5 and 6%. There are other rates that can be negotiated. However, you know, it is based on different conditions and different relationships that can be spoken to. 5, the legal costs. So this area is also something very important at the start of the listing, because you need to select an attorney, you need to understand the fees involved, whether you're using a mortgage and there will be closing cost fees. There are different fees associated that your attorney will handle for you, preparing documents, processing documents, transferring documents, the communication and all the handling between the buyer and the seller. Your attorney handles that. And those costs is something that you need to discuss as well with your attorney. Those fee ranges as well, because each attorney has different fees and each transaction may be more complicated. So these fees may range from 1% all the way up to 5%, depending on the attorney that you're using, right? So be prepared to have those conversations to discuss, because the going forward with the processing of the transaction, the attorney's name is needed, so that whenever there is a offer being considered or accepted, your attorney information is placed there, because they will be your representative going forward in the transaction, right? Number 6. All right. So this here now is to check with your mortgage institution. So if you had a mortgage on the property, you will need to get the up-to-date information with your mortgage. What is the outstanding fees? What is owing? Anything at all that is related. If you are able to sell the property at this point, if you can get a copy of the title to show your proof of ownership, different conversations must be had there. And it needs to happen at the beginning, so that you understand if you can even go forward with the sale of the property. Because based on your mortgage as well, you might say, wait, but if I sell the property based on the value of the house that I want to buy after, or what I want to invest the funds in, now may not be the right time. So the conversation with the financial institution or the mortgager is important at the get-go, to get things going as well. All right. And the final point, be honest about the property, right? A lot of properties, a lot of owners, there will be complications, right? You may have a dispute on the property, a past family member, a past, vested interest may have some sort of interest in the property. So therefore the property sale needs to get their authorization, or else there can be legal matters. You may have put up a structure on the property, and that structure may have breached the terms of the title. The boundaries may be breached, and that will prevent you also from transferring that title, because the law will say no, the boundaries need to be unencumbered, so you cannot proceed. So therefore, that clear allowance needs to be established before going into the sale. There are other ways around it where the buyer can take on the risk through a cash sale, where the transaction process is a little different, but all of that needs to be handled before the sale of the property, because that will delay a big delay on the transaction if it is that has to be resolved before the title can be transferred. And those are the 7 points. Just to recap, the listing agreement, proof of ownership with your property title, your personal documents, legal fees, the commission, and understanding showing that the property is free and unencumbered of any, obstruction that will delay the sale. So these are critical areas to consider. I'm happy I'm able to give some clarity on it. And if you have any questions, reach out. I must say each transaction is different, and there are unique areas that may be considered in a transaction that may, go around what is the standard arrangement. So be sure to get a professional attorney, get a professional realtor, one that who is knowledgeable about all areas of it, because it's important that your realtor be there to guide you through the banking side, the legal side, and of course the property assessment and just general, you know, um, discussions about the best decisions or the best route to take, right? So this has been Property Perspectives, and I thank you for watching. If you like it, and subscribe, and feel free to drop the comments in the